I got into the art directly through my business. I've been an antiques dealer specializing in antique American folk art and weird object most of my adult life. I invariably came over pieces that were just so unusual and pleasing to my aesthetic that were either great in form or color or surface or rarity, not readily saleable. So I decided I was going to collect these pieces to eventually put into artwork. Because I had it in my mind how I could juxtapose things with other things and really make interesting new objects from old pieces. I collected and I collected and I collected. I probably collected for the first 20 years I was in business before I actually joined an object together. I revered these objects and I just didn't feel like putting holes into them, even though they were going to be only little screw holes and they were going to be in the backs of the object. All the things I collected had nowhere to be put except in my house. And my house was filled with objects. You had to step over things to get anywhere. And my wife was going crazy. And my wife said, if you don't make a piece of art out of all this stuff, I'm going to throw it away when I get home. And I said, oh God, I got to do it. I got to start putting this stuff together. And I was off and running into the world of art. I love to put things that look like they could be alive in the piece or were alive, just to give it a certain kind of feeling of movement and possible life in the piece. And the things I collect, if I find an object that really is well done and reminiscent of a living object, and people like to see something in it that they can recall as life. Usually the way a piece starts, I might find a new object that I haven't had before, and it becomes the germ of an idea to place other things around it that associate with it. I try to use each piece I have in a way that honors them and gives them an association with all the things that I put with it. And that's how I tell stories. I narrate things with my pieces. Some of them are jokes, humorous, but they're never just something that is a form that doesn't have a story to it of some kind. Something that makes people think, now what did he mean by that? But I usually give titles to give some indication about what went through my mind as I finished off a piece, how I felt it should be communicated to the rest of the world. And that's what I do with my objects. I collect objects that I think I can use with other objects I've already collected. I have a real feeling for these things. I revere them actually because they've made it through great amounts of time to come to me. And I really respect them. And I feel like I'm doing a great thing, giving them another life in time. In fact, I tried to figure out, why do I love this stuff so much? Sure, the look of the piece, the feel of the piece, but also the time of the piece. I found that I'm actually a time collector. The time it took the piece to get to me, the time it took for the person to make the piece, the time period that the person lived in. I learn a lot from that, from just the piece itself. And I collect this time and I use it and I give it another time to go into. It acquires a different importance than what it used to be. And a lot of things I've collected are utilitarian objects that are artistic in my mind. They can be used in an artful way. And that's about that.